Hi, welcome. We always start talking about Literatu Scribo in the context of a teacher. The platform is designed really to enhance the effort both teachers and students put into learning to write, maximizing time, maximizing engagement, and maximizing feedback. So, really, it's about staying or keeping teachers connected and in this loop. We never wanted to take teachers outside of the framework they work in every day. We certainly want to add value to the speed at which they could move and the accuracy of support they can get. So, with that in mind, Scribo starts simply by a teacher walking into a classroom. And being a teacher in a high school or possibly primary, you might have one or many classes. Okay, we understand that. And this is what's called a roster. We integrate with Google Classroom, Teams, SIS systems, anything that can get us sort of a structural representation of your classes and your students. It's logical to have that linked in. The next thing that happens in a class is the teacher is teaching at a level to students in a curriculum. So English is nice because it really is about a continuum of skills. It's not necessarily about the curriculum that we're teaching. So maths and science very much sort of build around the concept of curriculum and topics. English is a skill that permeates right across the span. So you can have year 6 students writing at a very high level and year 12 students running at a very low level. It's a skill that gets developed across time. Now, the books that you study along the way, that sort of sets the rhythm of the curriculum, but the continuum of the writing skills is really what we're focused on developing and adding value to. So across a class, there's a lot of things going on. The essay could be about the writing activity, could be about anything, any subject, any genre, any level, any particular topic. And really what we want to do is seat this teacher right into the sort of backbone of what's going on in the classroom. Without something like Scribo, they're looking across maybe 30 Google documents, they're looking across maybe 30 different pieces of handwriting. It's a lot to get across. What Scribo does is bring all that into view so that with one click I can swap between students very, very quickly and see what work they're working on, how they're writing, what they're scoring, how they're getting feedback. This is critical because on the other side of this transaction here, we're asking students to participate and engage in writing. We give them that opportunity, and we give them that opportunity in many ways. And I'll get to what the student sees, but really what they see is everything a teacher sees without the impact of the class scoring. So a teacher can walk into any class, click on any student, have a look at what's going on with each student, the sorts of feedback Scribo is giving across a whole range of different feedbacks. And of course, this goes through grammar, punctuation, spelling, topic coverage. It covers a lot of feedback, but it's very much in the control of a teacher to turn it on or turn it off. Okay, we don't want to flood students with feedback. We want to give them the right feedback at the right time. This is where we keep the human in the loop. It looks very automatic and it is very supportive in terms of what it can give in terms of feedback, but it really is about keeping humans in the loop. So sentences, we're going to combine sentences, we're going to look at sentence fragments, and we're going to look at how those sentences represent across paragraphs. How many different simple sentences are you balancing with complex sentences? These are all pedagogical inputs from teachers. This is simply sort of saying it back to the student. You've got a lot of simple sentences in this paragraph. Maybe you could work on that. So the feedback is really about encouraging students to self-direct their learning, and that's really the most important thing about Scribo. Of course, this is what we call process level writing, like fixing the technicalities, the sort of precision of how English gets used in certain constructs, nicely with grammar, punctuation, spelling. It all starts to come together in sentences, and sentences form paragraphs. But in that process, you could miss the topic. You could miss the argument. You could not answer the question. So this is where the product side of Scribo kicks in. This is where our AI chatbot really lifts the level of feedback into giving more feedback, more structural and more contextual, maybe cognitive feedback that a teacher would naturally give. It's like you didn't answer the prompt. You talked about objectivity in historical writing, but you didn't answer the question about the Mediterranean world. So these are all pieces of feedback that get generated All feedback can be amended by a teacher, rejected, amended, added to. At any time, a teacher can click on any part of a student's text and record audio messaging, text to feedback, give sentiment. So, this is great, this is really positive. You can even go for a rewrite and create feedback based on that. So, there's a lot you can do with very few clicks. And I hope you've realized that I've been moving very slowly to get across all of this and understand where the student's at. So it's really simple to move around. It's really simple to get a vision into what is happening. We don't take anything off a teacher. We certainly give a lot back to students in terms of self-direction and what they can do. And of course, the most powerful thing that everybody talks about is our grading. So you can use any type of rubric grading that you want. We support all of the IGCSEs, the Australian rubrics, the American rubrics, the international rubrics, IELTS, TOEIC, TOEFL, CEFR. They're all built into the system, but you can actually import your own rubrics as well and modify them as well. So anytime you want to grade using a rubric, it's one click to grade using AI, and we'll get quite accurate results with some very accurate feedback on each level of the rubric that you can give back to students. So again, we're taking time away from what takes time, to grade against the rubric objectively 24/7 in the same way, the same type, consistently, is a real challenge for teaching. And it's something that we don't want to remove teachers from. We do want to sort of take the lifting and the weight from teachers in doing what we do. We, of course, support handwriting. So if students are handwriting, and it's part of the modality of writing, handwriting has got a great body of research around it. We don't take any of that away. We support it. So if a teacher wants to use their device, phone, tablet, to take a picture of handwriting, it will come in, we'll do the nice translation. And it's great because it puts students in a position where they can continue the journey in writing. Handwriting in many ways is a stop point for many students. Once I've written 1,000 words on something, I'm not going to rewrite it, no matter how much feedback you give me. In this case, we can bring it in, we can mobilize that feedback, we can give students the ability to keep going with it, self-direct, and keep moving with the improvement of the essay. So it's a really big benefit there. In terms of some great things you can do along the way, you can go into any particular student you like and have a look at, if you were wondering how the developing writing skills were happening in other parts of school, in other parts of the class, you can go into young Julie's, what we call Groove Report. So we could look now across her performance across all of the schools, the sorts of skills that she's suffering from in all subjects, and actually drill into individual subjects to see what's going on. So there's a lot that can be done very simply with one click in moving around Scribo. It's very interactive. It's designed really to connect teachers and students together in writing, not take either party away and float them off in a discontinuous direction. It's all about bringing them together in a single spot for improvement. And that's really the crux of the platform. Now, around the other side, lesson planning, lesson creation, all of those sorts of things that engage students in writing, we really help with as well. So we've got a great library in town. We've got a great library of things that teachers can choose from. As teachers create activities, they can put things into the library. They can, of course, then assign straight from the library. So it builds momentum in terms of lesson plans, and guidance can be used for any subject, okay? Any humanities subject. It doesn't have to be English. English is a language that gets used right across the backbone of a school. So everyone can be on the English improvement sort of gravy train, or not gravy train, but freight train, I should say, and make sure that students are getting the best consistent advice across every time they write. So this is a great thing here. This is if I wanted to create any sort of essay about any type of genre, about any type of topic, and assign a number of words and paragraphs, I can let Scribo work out some relevant prompts. It knows what class I'm in, it knows what level my students are at, so it sort of tempers itself to all of that. So prompting AI is no longer something teachers have to really worry too much about. When you find the prompt you like, you use the prompt you like, and you can create a scaffold to accompany the writing. So within a couple more clicks, I've got students writing about JFK. On the left-hand side, I've got my essay construct. On the right-hand side, I've got the scaffold the students will use. And one more button, and I can assign that to my class. Now, these are your options. What rubric would you like? Would you like automatic grading, non-automatic grading? Would you like to stop them pasting text so they can't copy and paste? Uh, these are all options that suit and sort of blend in with your pedagogical approach. What are you trying to achieve? If you'd like to just focus on vocabulary and turn other parts of the feedback off, of course, you can do that in a couple of clicks as well. So really, getting behind how teachers are teaching and accompanying them through that distance they travel, lightening the load and keeping students engaged is what Scribo does. And in a couple of clicks, you can assign that to any number of classes, and students are now working on it. So that very much is the Scribo experience. It's designed really to achieve some significant outcomes and achieve some significant reductions in workload and communication. And it's all here very simply. To mobilize, it takes a couple of days to get a class up and running and see results. So I'd encourage you to take a look. And of course, we can answer any questions along the way. Thanks for your time.